Good evening from Lilydale, New York. I'm sitting in my home here in the office, and I'm glad everybody's come and joined in. I'll give the information first as to how to reach me. The website's www.rev, Gregory Kehn, Kehn.com, and the phone number would be 716-595-3529, 716-595-3529. Now, the next class we have will be the 21st of May, and we'll do that on the 21st of May. And tomorrow night, if anyone's really local here, we're doing the circle over at Fellowship of the Spirit, which is a spiritualist church. And I'll be starting a season here for the whole summer going into the winter. And we'll be doing a circle over there called Spiritual Development. And we'll be working with healing. We'll be working with mediumship and learning how to utilize it. And we'll be doing that over there. And that happens every Wednesday night of Fellowship, which is just outside the gates of Lilydale. Broadcasting from Lilydale tonight. And I'll start out by saying I've been noticing how crazy people have been and the silly things they're doing. And some of the situations that I've seen with driving, and I've seen with people's attitudes and actions, and how touchy and overwhelming some individuals can be. And I find this energy building up where people really don't understand what's going on. And the ones that aren't aware and in tune, they're reacting to things in really an aggressive or negative manner. And I've been watching it happen, how many people have been thoughtless and doing things that are really thoughtless. And it's something that I find interesting to watch the planetary changes and all the things that are going on around us and how people are reacting to it and may not be aware of it. They may not really understand why or what they're doing, but they're certainly tapping into the energies that are quite disruptive. And to work with the idea of healing and to work with the idea of understanding this, like people talk about defensive driving, I've been more cautious and deliberately more cautious because I see people do really silly things. I was down in Jamestown and a truck that was behind me decided to pass me on the left-hand side in a one-way street and fly by like a rocket ship. And it's something that, you see people doing things that you look at as unnecessary, unneeded, and a little crazy at times. I feel people are reacting to some of the world's energies right now. And if we look at the conflicts in the world and we look at the weather in the world, who would believe that we've had so many tornadoes in the United States, and especially in the southern states, as many as we've had recently? There's one state there had 71 tornadoes in a month. So you look at the idea of what's been going on with nature, and you look at what's going on with people. And if you say, I've had people say to me, well, all the crazy energies that are going on and people are reacting to it. Well, how about reversing it and saying how many people are getting a little crazy and nature's following suit? And to realize we are creating energy around us, and we're creating either harmony or disharmony. And it's all our choice in what we're doing. And what vibration are we functioning in that's going to bring harmony to our lives and bring balance to our lives? Or is it something that we're going to have more chaotic energy? I've been watching people that you'd normally think would be reasonable and pretty calm, and here they are reacting to things in a very erratic manner, and even at times a really aggressive manner. And I feel this is where people are just overwhelmed with some of the energies and may or may not be aware that they're actually experiencing that. They don't know why they're doing what they're doing, but they're doing it. I've had some people recently come across with a very aggressive energy, but yet, in a way, there's a part of them, they're not getting what they want or the answers they want or the guidance they want, and they want the outcome they want. And it's backfiring on them because the more forceful they become, the more it doesn't work smoothly and well. And we need to be alert to the idea of some people just plain aren't in tune to that energy and doesn't have the patience and the calmness to allow to yourself to bring balance. And I feel all of us here that I see here with us we have the ability to bring balance, and we're also wonderful creators, and we can create harmony or disharmony at a drop of a hat. And what are we doing in our thought and our prayer and our energy to bless some of these individuals that are really a little out there? I've seen a few people that even in a restaurant, I was watching a few people, and I just kept sending energy of healing and send the energy out to them to be able to bring harmony and calmness to where they're at. And I find that if we can do that in the absent healing manner, that's really wonderful, and people do respond to it. And I find recently that everyone's mediumship and ability is on an increase. It's like all the events in the world that are occurring are a little crazy, and we're needing to be aware of, in the midst of all that, I really feel God and Spirit's giving us more guidance, opening us more to our sensitivities and awarenesses. And I think each of you have had some experiences. Each of you have had some experiences that would lead you to believe that your sensitivity is increasing. Now, I can see you, so have you noticed anything where your sensitivities are increasing? Please raise your hand. Good. Good. I think that's everybody on the screen. So be aware of the idea that we're needing to realize in ourselves we have that ability to be in tune, and at a level we understood before and felt good about and could function in comfortably. And we really, let's say we weren't as in tune as we could be, and we didn't allow it to happen as often as we now can. And we're allowing it to work with us more. And to please really in a meditative or calm manner, I've had people say meditation, yoga, contemplation, whatever brings the calmness to you, that you can clear your mind and you can allow yourself to put out the energy of intent. And we set that energy of intent, we can bring the calmness in, the harmony in, and we can bring the answers in, because Spirit will be working with us and through us. And the more we allow that to occur, the better level we're going to function from, and it's going to be so much easier for us and not have the disharmony. I've had some people that I've spoken to in readings and in other areas of life where they're saying they've been feeling very discombobulated, a lot of confusion of energy. And it's something, if we allow ourselves to be too wide open, we can pick up on everything around us that's going on. And if we allow ourselves to just have a little more of a filter, and remember where you were filtering it before and your sensitivity before was at another level. Now you're opening up to a new level, and you're going to have more coming through to you more clearly, and to recreate the filtering system. How many of you have had moments where you feel recently that you could be overwhelmed by the input of energy that you're feeling and sensing around you? Please raise your hands. Because I've watched this happen, and I felt it myself, the waves of energy that was occurring. And I've learned as a child to create a filter. It's almost like putting things at an arm's reach and be able to keep it out there. But in doing that, it's allowing you the sensitivity. You're not reducing your sensitivity, and you're not reducing your ability to feel and sense and know what's going on. But I feel an energy that now we're choosing what we're allowing to come in, instead of it being a massive flow of energy flowing into us with all these things coming at us at the same time, because then we become very confused and very disheartened with what's going on because we don't feel solid and calm. And the more calm we become, the more balanced we're going to be. So let's look at the idea that whether we wanted to think about it or not, we're becoming more sensitive, we're becoming more open. Those energies are occurring more often than what we're used to. The world is really shifting. You talk about the idea of sea level rising and the ice melting and all the things that are going on. People at times ignore that. I was down in Florida all winter, and one of the examples I've seen down there in areas that I want to say in a short period of time is going to have a very difficult time with sea level. And here they are building like crazy people, building huge buildings, building malls, building plazas, building all kinds of things. And I know in a few years they're going to have very difficult times with that due to nature and what's really going on. And I see so many people that are just not in touch with that at all, even though it's been all over the Weather Channel and other news things has talked about it. They just ignore it and go on. And I find that, there's one area there where I watched them put up a whole series of huge buildings that are condos, and they're less than 2 feet from the surface of the ground to the water. And there's a massive amount of water around them, but it's like all they have is 1.5 to 2 feet. And they built all these buildings. And you can imagine in the speed that things are occurring, which has also sped up, it's like they're not going to be able to do what they're doing in the future. And look at all the people that are going to be invested in and involved in and living in an environment where they may have to change things and they may not be able to be there. So let's look at the idea of the reality that's coming through for people and that they're having to awaken to it and realize we're not as in charge and in control of everything as we at times think we are. So I think it's going to be an interesting transition as we're awakening our mediumship and our abilities. And I felt another energy with everyone here in the idea of healing. How many of you have had opportunities where you felt like sending people energy and sending people healing, and whether it be family or just friendships and even strangers, to send that energy out is a very important thing, and allow ourselves to do that. Become a more of a practice of allowing ourselves to feel what we're feeling and immediately put energy into that in a positive way. And as we become that as a practice on a daily level, it's bringing balance, it's bringing harmony in our lives, because the more we share the healing energy, the more healing energy flows through us. And we become calmer and more at peace with that whole process. I've watched churches and people go through all kinds of stresses and turmoils, and I've been watching all of the things going on in the world on the news, and you see some of the things that are happening that people look at and go, why did that person do that? I want to say there's times I feel some of the people doing horrendous things. They don't know why. Their belief system has been altered or twisted in some manner that's very negative and very manipulative, and it's very sad. But that's where I feel the mental unrest and the mental, confusion, let's say, people are in. Be aware of that around you in your life, and be aware of people that I would term are in balance and in harmony and are really very solid, and they're making reasonable and honest decisions. And then you see people that are just being very erratic and making some really goofy decisions at times. And I feel Spirit's working with us and helping us. And as the increase of all these energies are occurring, they're working with our increase of being able to be in balance and be in harmony. But we have to choose to focus on that and allow that to be a part of our lives. And we have this everyday lifestyle of everything that is supposedly so important on the earth plane and that we're so involved in and focused on, that I think can be very disruptive. And we consider some of these things so important, where in reality, I don't believe they're anywhere near as important as what Spirit would bring to us or guide us into. And to be alert to that and be aware of the idea of that occurring. I don't know how many of you have seen people that you normally thought was fairly normal and fairly in balance, and that you'd see them act out in an erratic manner, and you'd wonder, why are they that angry? Why are they that upset? Or why would they make decisions the way they are? I really feel mentally people are under a stress and strain they don't understand, they don't recognize, and they're reacting to things that at times you and I may look at it and say, well, I can see something's wrong. They don't see it. They don't understand it. They're not in tune to it. And the more spiritually aware we are, the more in tune we will be. And I feel all of you are opening up to that and really mutually allowing the energy flow to be there. How many of us have had events in our lives recently that certainly we would like to see change or have a different outcome and make it better, but we're more reasonably accepting that here's realities that are occurring, and we make the best out of what you could term a bad situation. And in the healing energy, we're needing to recognize that no matter what it is or who it pertains to, we can put energy into it. Remember, we can invent energy, we can share energy, we can manifest all these things. And we're needing to really utilize that in the times that we're in now and the times that are coming. I feel people are panicking over things at times when they finally have the eyes to see, the ears to hear, and the mind to understand, and they get panicky about all the changes that are occurring. I've seen people actually be frightened over what they see on the news and what they see going on with people. And we're needing to be very aware of that and be in tune to the idea that we can help them be calmer, and we can plant the seeds of wisdom, guidance, and love there to bring that harmony and bring that calmness. How many of you in your own family has been going through things that it's either someone passing, or it's a circumstance of very disruptive energies in relationships, or disruptive energies in the sense of jobs? In the area that I used to live in Ohio, GM, the big GM plant closed, and there were hundreds of people out of work. And a lot of them got transferred to all these other environments, and how stressful and how upsetting it was for people to go through that. And I remember years ago speaking at the TSBR, Trumbull County Psychic Society over in Warren, Ohio, and predicting the fact that Packard would close in Warren, Ohio, and that GM would close, and that Packard would be first. And that was a huge, huge plant with thousands of employees. And then in GM was the same thing. Well, it just closed a short time ago. And I've had a group of people that are GM employees that are now out of work, and they were used to having a very secure life and a very secure paycheck and a lifestyle they could live comfortably, to now zero. And the banks won't even finance a car for them. The banks won't even give them more credit for anything. And their whole life is on hold. And I look at all the things that are so drastically happening, and I really believe that if we're in tune, we'll see things coming, and we're able to take the steps we needed to make the best out of it. And that's where I find a lot of people are not doing that, and they're being forced to look at it and forced to be in tune to it, where normally they wouldn't be. And that's all coming to a head, and it's really shaking people up that all of a sudden here's this whole life that they have shifted and changed completely. You know, I had one person tell me they were making $30 an hour working where they were working, and now they're making almost zero. And it's something that really blew them away to think that they had been there so many years and they can't even get retirement. So it's like, I look at all the energies occurring that are so drastic and so powerful in people's lives right now. And I look at the areas where you've seen stores like Sears and Penny's and things shut down and move out of malls and move out of places, move out of towns, Sam's Clubs. You see all these shifts and changes going on that has a huge effect, not only for the people working there, but for the people that would normally go there, you know, to purchase things or be involved in the store. You know, I look at all the energy happening. Our economy is not what they're claiming for it to be and saying it's so good and so wonderful and so big. I don't believe that at all. And I believe we're headed into a time that's really going to shake things up. And I would say the whole idea of what they're talking about, presidency and voting for president, I feel we're going to go through a very rough time in this country on a financial level. And this is going to come up here going towards the time of voting. And just to be aware of your own security and being able to set something aside that's cash in hand and the ability to do things or pay things or take care of things, and to not build up more credit problems or build up on things where you owe that much more money. And I feel just the thoughtfulness of that will help you immensely, because this isn't the gloom and doom energy, but it's an awareness of, I feel we've been lied to for quite a while now, and now we're awakening to the thought of what's really coming and what's really happening. So we need to be aware of that and take precautionary measures that we're going to be fine. I think that's one of the biggest things that, people at times when they're working somewhere and they're making very good money and they feel that's going to last forever, they live their lives. I had one gentleman tell me, he says, well, there's nothing I own that I don't have payments on. And I look at the energy around him, and he's a very kind man and very good person. But everything that he has in his life, he owes on. And now that he's out of work, he can't pay these things. And he's only kept a couple things that he's kept security with, and the rest of it, he's losing. And I think we're needing to be aware of the energies in the world around us and how things are so polluted in a physical sense. I mean, I realize water's polluted and things like that, but we're needing to be aware of mentally and emotionally how polluted we are with some of the things that's being shown to us and presented to us. And how many people around us now look at things and say, I don't trust anybody because everyone's lying about things. I see people getting into a really paranoid energy at times, and they're looking at everybody that they're lying to them. Now, not saying that's not happening, especially in some political areas or governmental areas, but we need to look at that. Look how many people are trying to come into this country from other countries, and they're looking at it as a possibility of harmony here. And in reality, we can't absorb as many people as coming at the country, thousands per day. And, how much room and ability do we have to be able to take care of everyone? And all these energies are realities, and I feel they're going to be coming up and really in the forefront right around election time. And certainly that's one of the things that's going to be talked about is the idea of how they adjust things for people coming into the country. And I feel very bad for a lot of things in the world, but look at the turmoil that's occurring in some of these countries where literally they don't feel safe. There's people I've spoken to that felt they could be killed if they stayed where they are. I look at that happening, and I want to say a lot of it's downplayed, where they don't want to really admit to it or show it very, very openly, but it's happening. And we need to be aware of that. And in our own country, I think the idea of bringing truth and justice to a much higher level and getting that to a point where it needs to be is something that I think everyone's going to start striving for. And we're going to see changes that are good ones, but it's certainly going to shake things up in the process. Now, I look at healing and the idea of working with absent healing. I've always sent out energy to people. If I feel anything around them or for them that's something that's not good, I always send out energy of healing for them. And I want to say, please think about how much energy you can put out in intent, and you can put out that love energy and be very deliberate to say it in your mind, send it out in your thought, and plant that seed of love and wisdom and guidance, and it's going to be helping people. I feel we're headed into some times here. It's really going to get a little shaky for a bit, but think about it this way. Those who don't want to open up and don't want to be in tune and don't want to listen are the ones that's really going to be in harm's way, because you're creating a circumstance that could bring a lot of disastrous energies in their life. And if we're going to be opening up to what we're feeling, we're going to be guided, we're going to be protected, we're going to have things in our lives in harmony, in spite of disharmony. I had a gentleman tell me one time, he was in a plane crash, and he was the only survival in one of the sections of the plane that had broken in half. The whole nose of the plane came off, and he was sitting in a chair looking around at people, and he said they weren't moving. He said they weren't talking, and he got out of his seatbelt, and he got out of the top of the plane and fell a great distance down to the ground and realized that everybody else was gone. And he got out of the plane, and he was all right. He twisted his ankle landing on the ground. He said, I got more hurt twisting my ankle than I did getting hurt with the crash of the plane. And he said to me, I feel almost guilty. He said, how could I be in the middle of this group of people, and yet I'm all right? And I know that it was a blessing for him, and he was supposed to be here. He's gone on to do some wonderful things in the world for people in a massive manner. And it's been a wonderful thing for him. And I feel the experience he went through was also something that motivated him, that he was here for a purpose. He was here for a focus of what he needed to do and achieve. And we're needing to recognize that we all have a purpose in our own lives. And in what way can we make changes to bring the harmony to the people around us and the world around us, and do it in a way that's planting those seeds of wisdom, guidance, and love there, and allow ourselves to have the harmony that we've really needed, that the world really needs. I keep seeing the energy of healing, and I'd like to go to the lady here, right here with the headphones.
Okay.
Hi.
I'm going to unmute her. Okay.
You're unmuted?
Catherine.
Hi, Catherine.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. You know, you're a very intuitive person. You pick up on people very well, and you have an instant feeling with people of liking them or not liking them, trusting them or not trusting them, and you follow through on it. And you even have friends that follow what you believe or feel, because there's times they'll take your lead.
Yes.
And I feel that you're keeping your light under a hat, because you're not allowing it to come out, and allow it to come out to the extent that you can share it. And I want to say, let's open up and let's share more. And I feel it's something that you have some people around you that I want to say, whether you really want to believe it or not, you are a guide to them, because would you recognize you end up being their counselor?
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing you counseling all the time, and no matter what's happening, there's always that energy around you. And I want to say, let's share it a little more and allow it to be out a little more, because there's times you'll go through a period where you'll just subdue it a bit and not allow it out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I see people around you that would be very interested in what you have to say and take it to heart and really, really utilize it.
Okay.
So let's not hold back in the manner at times you sometimes do.
Okay. I'm working on that.
And would you recognize in the physical world, it has really annoyed you as a child, because even as a child, I would term it, you had a maturity of looking at things in the world around you and going, why would they do what they're doing?
Yeah.
Why would they be so deliberate in being harmful or negative?
Yeah.
And I feel an energy there that you have had thoughts at times with healing that you'd like to just have a wand and just swing the wand around and zap everybody, and they're going to be better no matter what.
Yeah.
And I feel the energy there of you having what I believe to be a grandmother energy, and that she's working with you, and that she wants you to know that she's helping you. And I smell flowers with her. She loves flowers.
Yeah.
And your healing energy is wonderful. I feel that you have the ability to do a lot of Epsom healing, and all you have to do is think about them and put out the intent, and it works extremely well.
Okay.
All right?
Are you saying absent healing?
Epsom healing, where all you need to do is send a thought, and
Okay.
the energy's there.
Thank you.
And you've been having some thoughts recently that where you're living, you debate a little bit about changing the residency.
No, we just moved.
Yes, because I
Yeah.
see boxes all around you, and it's not in your camera, but I see boxes all around you as a symbol, and I feel like the transition was a good one.
Yeah.
Would you understand the energy of where you were was somewhat disruptive,
Toxic.
and the energy you're in now is so much calmer?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I feel more at peace with you now than what it had been.
Yes.
Very good. Left-hand side of the mouth, you've had one tooth bothering you or gum bothering you a bit?
This side.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
I'm looking at you and I'm seeing left side, but I get the feeling of my tooth bothering me and gum, and I feel like you've had a slight swelling there at times.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say take care of it because I feel your grandmother's telling me that you need to get it taken care of, and you've been putting it off.
Yeah.
Well, she's with you there, and she watches over things, and it's really wonderful. You have a question?
Oh, I didn't come prepared.
That's all right.
I guess I'm setting forth on a new path in school, and I think it's the right direction. I just, what are
I
you
feel
feeling about it?
I feel very good about that there. I think that's moving forward and doing very well. I just feel with you that you're also looking at it and thinking, if I would have done it when I first thought about doing it, I would have had it done by now.
Yes, but I wouldn't have met the people I met.
And that's why I want to say you weren't supposed to do it then. You're supposed to do it now, and you are. But
Okay.
I feel the energy there was something that you sort of kicked yourself a little bit and said, why didn't I do this before?
Yeah.
And I feel you're on track and you're doing very well with it. And let's go to the dentist and get that straightened out.
Okay.
Good. God bless you there.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Richard's got a question. Let me unmute him. Okay.
Hey, Richard.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
So here's my question. I'd like to get more in tune with animals, be able to do more mediumship work with animals, and I just bought some training materials that I'm working with. And do you have any suggestions for me to be able to work on this?
I think that's a wonderful energy. And I feel that one of the things with you that I think you're working on is realizing that you have to get your conscious mind out of the way and literally allow that unconditional love energy to be there. And as you allow that, not only is the animal giving unconditional love, but you're sharing with them the same. And I feel they'll open up to you with feeling what you're sensing with them and for them. And whether there would be some sort of injury or illness, you'd pick up on it.
Okay.
And it's something that you can read the books, and there's a lot there that'll be helpful. But I think the biggest thing is to practice with sitting calmly with an animal and allow them to be in your energy, like in your aura, and allow them to be in your lap, allow them to be with you, literally with you. And as you do that, that's going to really bring that calmness and harmony where both of you meet in the middle because they have a wonderful energy and you're tapping into their energy and allowing yourself to become in tune to their energy. And as you do that, you're going to feel what's going on in their body and going to feel what would be disturbing them or upsetting them in some form.
Okay.
I have it happen. I remember as a kid one time walking up a driveway and the guy had beware dog signs and all kinds of things. And I walked up the driveway and his two Dobermans come out charging at me, teeth showing. And I knelt down in front of them and I'm scratching the one's chin and I'm rubbing the other one's nose till he was closing his eyes. And the man come out and was very angry at the idea that his killer protective dogs were enjoying me scratching their chin and rubbing their nose. And I was working with the energy because I just became, completely submissive in the energy, and I would share the energy and return energy to them. And it was such a non-threatening energy that they responded so well to it. And he was actually very angry that the dogs weren't going to attack me. And that's where if we tap into their energy, I'll say it this way. Have you ever been out in nature and birds will come and be near you, animals will come be near you, things like that would occur. I've had that happen many times. Have had a family of raccoons play on a tree right beside me while I was fishing, and it was 3 feet away from me, and the babies are running up the tree branch and falling off the tree branch and landing within 2 feet of me. And the mother was right there. And no reaction at all in any negative manner. And I've had it happen canoeing up at Pymatuning Lake, where I'd be canoeing, and I said to a friend of mine in the canoe, I said, don't paddle, just sit still and make no noise. And we passed a deer within 3 feet. And when the deer snorted, it snorted all over the person in the front of the canoe. And it was so funny because we just slid right by, just coasting. And the deer stood there belly deep in water and just looked right in our eyes at us. So when you're talking about working with animals, I think that's a wonderful energy. You know, I have a couple friends of mine that over the years, they're hunters. And they asked me to go hunting with them because he said, the deer will walk right out of the woods for you, you know. And I said, no, we're not going to be doing that. But it was something that I've had it happen many times where animals will walk right out and be perfectly comfortable. And that's something that as you read your books and understand more, I feel that you now need to know then it isn't so much that you're just in tuning to a certain vibration. Allow yourself to be in their vibration. Allow yourself to let that energy occur. And as you do that, you become almost invisible, meaning you're invisible to anything that they would consider a threat. And your response to them would be a responding of mutual loving energy, and they would do that and come right up to you. I've had it happen many times with various animals. They'd come right up to me.
Okay.
So the books you're working with, get into it, understand it, that's great, but don't allow the analytical to be the lead force in what you're doing with the animals.
Okay.
There's techniques that'll be helpful, and focus of attunements will be helpful. But I get the feeling there that you like nature anyhow, and you like being out in the woods. And I feel an energy there to practice with some of the wild animals and see how they react to you.
Okay.
I've had it happen where I was at a park. I was fishing, and as I'm fishing, it was in a river. So I was bottom fishing, and I'm catching fish and getting what I wanted, and I was going to, have fish to eat. And in my mind, I always bless the energy that they're there and that they've come to me and they're donating their progression. They're progressing by moving on, but they're progressing by leaving their body with me that is the energy in this world that we need. And to have that intent and thought when I was fishing, and I'd have animals walk right near me that normally would stay in the woods and be very hidden.
Okay.
You're coming at it from a harmony level, and you're coming at it from a peaceful level. And it's not a circumstance and any disruptions occurring, and they respond to that. Enjoy it. I'm glad you're doing that.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
have a friend of mine that he's a hunter, and he wanted me to go hunting, and I said no, I wouldn't go hunting. So we went fishing, and we had 3 deer walk down the pathway right behind us and walk and follow us all the way to the water. And we're sitting there setting up our gear, and they stood there and watched us for a while. And the one deer walked within 10 feet of us. And the whole time I was saying to him, don't think about it as hunting. Think about it as beautiful and how wonderful it is to share with them. And you can enjoy their energy. And he was amazed at that he could experience that.
Okay. All right. That's very helpful.
Any other question?
No, that's it. Unless there's something comes to you that you want to say, I'm good.
Well, I see you taking time. I don't know how much being in the woods you would, or like, say, riding a motorcycle or bicycle, getting out a little bit and being in the country. I just felt so peaceful with that. And I feel that's going to be an energy for you that you're going to enjoy more.
I just bought a new bicycle and I joined the cycling club, so we're going to be doing a lot of cycling out in the country. Yes.
Good. I think you're really going to enjoy it, and it's a wonderful energy for you. And I just see that harmony because it keeps your mind is a very busy mind. Your mind goes and goes and goes all the time. And when you get focused on writing and you're really into the writing, you're actually in a very relaxed state.
Yes.
And I think that'll be amazing to you to have that relaxed energy and allow yourself to share in that energy. And that's when I think you'll be in tune to nature even more.
Okay. Sounds good.
Good. God bless you.
Thank you.
She has a question.
Oh, right. Yep. Okay.
Hi.
Hey there, how are you?
Good.
I was interested in your talking about using the filter,
Yeah.
but opening up and using the filter. What words or thoughts do you use to do that? Because, there's been a lot going on here and it's really hard to filter lately.
Well, let's say it this way. You've been experiencing some things that I would term overwhelming.
Right.
And I feel an energy there that with you, I feel overwhelming that would be past, present, thoughts of future. I mean, all these energies back and forth. And I feel that where you were, you had filters and you felt like it was something you handled. Now where you are at the moment, it's like at moments I feel a little overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
And a feeling of disbelief that it's like a lot of things that's happened you looked at and thought, okay, all those things occurred and they happened, but it's like, how can I now deal with or let go of some of the energies that I used to have or used to experience? And I feel you're learning to let go of them more now, where it's like, there's things that I want to term over with. They're gone and it's over. And you're moving forward now. And to take on the daily level of what you know you need to do and need to be in tune to, and that's the focus. These other things will filter out on their own more, and they're not going to be as powerful in your mind as they have been. And I think that's creating more of a filter then. You're not allowing yourself to let things flood in, and that's going to bring the balance. And you've been worried about everybody else and what they're dealing with, and I feel they're having their own separate pathways. I see all individual energies as to how they're needing to deal with what they're dealing with. And for you, it's a level of forgiveness and letting go, because there's some things over with in your life that it's good that it's over, and it's wonderful that it's done, and you're moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And the recreating of the filters is something you just set the intent that I desire the calmness, the harmony, the peacefulness, the awareness and attunement as to knowing what's going on. And I feel that's going to work for you. All right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
Oh, cool. Anne.
Hi.
Anne. Okay.
Can you hear me? Hi, Reverend. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Having some trouble focusing on my spirituality because a lot of stress around with my daughter, my mother, and stuff, and other things that I'm trying to to be positive about. You
mean you would like to slip into a physical world for a moment and smack people?
Yeah, a lot of times.
I feel an energy there that you're realizing now that their vantage point of the events in the world around them is somewhat negative at times. And you're stepping back and looking at it and thinking, I want to change their minds. I want to change their thoughts. I want to change their focus and intent and purpose. And you can't do it all. And I want to say, let's reverse something here and change the energy by whatever they're trying to do and whatever energy they're sending out. No longer challenge it. No longer say, well, I'm going to use this as an example. Your daughter's doing something you don't like, you feel is wrong, it's going to bring harm to her, but yet you can't get her to listen. And I want to say, don't attempt it. surround her in light, no words, no attitude. You're not going to get in an argumentative energy. You're just not going to allow yourself to be involved in that energy. Her energy is her energy. God bless her. And you don't get into a thing of trying to tell her how to do, what to do, or make it better. And that's going to be really tough for you because you have always been the fix-it person. And when they look at you and they're not getting a reaction out of you they normally would, they're going to look at you like, what's wrong with my mom? You know, why is she now not saying anything? That makes sense?
Yeah, it does. She and my mother both use the babies to like manipulate me, you know, my two granddaughters, not letting me see them. And yeah, it makes it hard. They pull me in.
Think of it this way. When you reach a point where it doesn't matter whether they do that or they don't do that, because when you have the opportunity to love them where, when, and how you can, you will, and you'll enjoy them. And other than that, if they want to play this little game, I wouldn't say a word about it. I would just let them go, because it's very destructive what they're doing, but they don't want to look at the destructive energy they're creating for not only the children but themselves. And for you to change tactic on how to deal with it and just step back, and whatever they're doing, that's fine. Let it go.
Okay.
You know, if they're pushing on you as hard as they're pushing on you and you just back up, they fall over. And they both like to push.
Yes.
So you just back up and let them fall over, and they're flat on their face wondering what happened, and you're no longer having a challenge at all. None. Zero. They're not going to be sure what to do, because what they have normally done that worked, that would stir you up and get into a conflict energy, because they both like conflict. It's like your ability just to say, you know, God bless them. And you step back.
I got to work on that, because I tend to get really angry. Even when I get off the phone, like I'm really angry, I get caught up. I start getting angry the way they're angry all the time. And I don't like being that way, because I don't go around being angry all the time. They do, but then I end up being angry, and it's horrible.
That's where your ability to detach from it and just become peaceful internally and step back from it. And they're charging at you with so much energy that they fall on their face with their own energy.
Okay, I'll work on that, Reverend.
And as you do that, don't walk back into it. Just step back and let it go. Because at that point, what bait do they have to bait you besides, now I'm using the children as an example, you know, well, you want to see the kids. Well, sure, I'd love to see the kids. But no longer is it a circumstance that it's going to upset you if they play a game. If they play a game, you just calmly walk away. And I could see them not sure what to do then, because no longer you're taking the bait. And I feel at that point, they're going to allow you to see the kids without having all the stress and problems, because once they wake up and the little drama thing they keep going with doesn't work at all, it's going to throw them completely. They're not going to be sure what to do with that. See, you're needing to know you can be in charge of that, and you can be in control of that more than you've been. And you're going to bring that harmony and calmness to yourself to allow it to be.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless.
God bless you too.
Someone else have a question? No other questions? I'm sorry. Oh, we only have about 5 minutes to the end of the class anyhow. So there's a couple things I was picking up that I would share. Did she have a question?
Oh.
Right here. I don't know if she raised her hand or she was just moving her hand. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I couldn't tell whether you were actually raising your hand or what.
Yeah, I was wondering, I have a 4-year-old and she's very in tune and very empathetic, and she's very into magic because
Mm-hmm.
she watches TV.
Yeah.
And she wants to learn spells. So what I've been turning it into is cooking recipes, because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's like real life magic that she can like put things together and it comes out good. And
Yeah.
I don't know, other than like asking her to share her dreams and what she's feeling, how to support her so that she doesn't get overwhelmed like I have been. So like I just turned it off for a long time.
Well, I think it's wonderful that you've turned the spells into cooking and you're using that as a way or a channel for that to happen. That's great because it's really working well. And you're allowing her to experience on the earth plane level, because think of it this way: she could be in a fantasy level very easily, in a dreamy, fun level very easily.
Mhm.
And you're grounding her in a way, but you're doing it in a way that she has interest in.
Okay.
I see her enjoying that, and she's really been creative in some ways now. And the idea of her being like, say, bewitched and, twinkle the nose and she gets what she wants, I really feel she's a bit spoiled anyhow. And I feel the energy there that she at times knows how to maneuver things.
With other people, yes.
Yes. And I feel that that is going to work well. And I think it's wonderful the way you're doing it, because it's bringing it into a tangible, worldly level of her functioning. Now, as far as the idea of, spells, I really feel an energy there that if you can shift it a little bit towards set an intent of harmony, set an intent of healing, set an intent of people being in harmony with each other. She is the fix-it person with friendships. She doesn't want to have anybody feel negative or be negative or act negative.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel her energy is one to fix everyone per se. All
Mhm.
right. So when you're working with her energy and you allow yourself to relax with the idea of setting intent with her, and it's something that will shift from her thinking of a spell type energy to the idea of setting intent for harmony.
Okay.
And that she has the ability to be a manifested person, and she can manifest things in a positive way. And for her to accept, first thing would be, even though she's attempting to manifest something, to recognize that if it's not supposed to be that way, it's not going to be that way.
Okay.
And for her not to take it on that in some way she's either a failure or take it on in some way that she has all this power to make something happen. But to
Okay.
set the intent to do a healing energy and a wish to have things in harmony, that's wonderful, and she'll do well.
All right. Thank you.
And I think it's a great idea what you're doing. And I would talk to her about her dreams, because she has a guide around her, and it's an American Indian female. And I
Okay.
see this guide stepping in and working with her at times. I don't know if she's mentioned having a lady show up in her room.
She mentions a lot of things, so I'll have to think about it.
Keep it in mind, because I see a female, very gentle energy, bringing a great deal of healing. And I see her working with her and doing the same thing you're doing in helping her shift from wanting to say, I have power in doing this, to I have harmony in doing this.
Okay. Because she does say, this morning she said that she has power over her dad to make him do things,
Mm-hmm.
which
Well,
she does, but
he has the ability to be pretty manipulative at times.
yeah.
But I do feel an energy there that I think you got your hands full in the sense of her focus. But I also feel an energy with her that she has a wonderful ability. Once you get it pointed in the right direction and she sees wonderful results, you'll be amazed how well it'll work.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions? Yes.
Oh, hang on. Okay.
All right.
Hi, Reverend. This is a quick one. My granddaughter, the other day, I gave her some tarot cards because I have a whole bunch of different tarot cards. Because I thought, well, maybe she could just learn. And she was trying to tell little stories. And I thought that might be good for her to, just make up her own stories. Because eventually, maybe one day, if she does decide to read tarot, that's a good way I've read to do it, to make up stories. I mean, that's what they tell you in the book. So she was just making up stories. Is that okay? Is that positive to let her do that?
Well, I think it's something, if you work with her a little bit on the idea of what she's feeling and what she's coming through with, she's opening her intuitive ability, and the cards will be a symbol of a tool, and it's a tool because her ability is within her. All right. The cards are just an outer display. And it's something that as she utilizes her inner ability, it's going to be pretty amazing how much she'll bring out that you're going to see truth in, and you're going to see it as being really factual.
Okay, so right now she's just doing, I didn't really guide her. I didn't tell her what to do. She just decided to make up stories. That's good though, right?
That's fine for now. She's a little kid. That's fine.
Okay, so what am I'm not sure I understand what I'm supposed to do.
Well, what you do is you let her read for you,
Oh,
and you work with her on the idea of what does she really feel. And I feel as time goes on, she'll recognize her individual knowing and feeling, and not just the analytical of looking at a card.
gotcha. Okay,
All right?
thank you.
God bless you, dear.
God bless you.
I know we're just about done. They're going to, cut us off here somewhere. But anyway, I've enjoyed very much working with all of you tonight. I hope you gained something from it that you enjoy and would help you heal. And please take time to send out the energy of healing and to work with the energies you feel from other people. We do walk around in our own little bubbles at times, and we sort of tune out a lot of things. And I want to say to create the filter and be a little more open and allow ourselves to feel it, because we're feeling it so we can send energy outwardly for healing. And that's why we open up. So let's open a window and have a good look at things, and we can see that and we can send the energy out. All righty? God bless everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
Greg.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.